Well, it's been a little while since we talked to you guys. I think the last time we spoke, we were in our old space.
Yep.
So now we're in the new one. And what was the album back then? I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Love Ain't Free was the last one.
Right.
2009.
It's only 2 years ago?
Yeah.
God, it seems like forever. So we have this new one called Aphrodisiology, which I don't get.
It's a study of aphrodisiacs, which is...
Come on, there's really such
Yes.
There is now.
There is now. Jeff actually, he has a tendency to make up large words that he like to try to sound smart. So one day he said that word and I wrote it down because I thought it rolled off the tongue nicely. And we just came back to it when we were trying to think of a theme for the album, and it just kind of worked. We feel that this album is like our sexiest album, so having that name, which refers to a sexual thing, it just worked.
Very, okay, I understand. So there's a certain cerebralness to this.
Yeah, it's educational as well.
Okay, good. Have you studied various aphrodisiacs? Can you recommend one?
We are in the midst of it. I mean, we've made a musical compilation, and now we're in the midst of
It's a lifelong study for all men. What makes girls like us?
Yeah, how do we get those pheromones working for us instead of against us all the time?
Exactly.
God, where were you guys when I was 18? We could have had this big study together.
Yeah, we could have, all the nerds. I was a nerd anyway.
Oh yeah, big time.
Girls didn't like me till after I was 18, actually. I was just funny, like, the friend, you know? I was like,
oh, you're like a brother to me.
Funny, so, you know?
Yeah. Can I touch anything? No, that'd be weird. Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with your chemistry experiment there.
Thank you.
And I do have to ask. Okay. When did you send me this copy of the album? Was it about 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah, digitally. I
did
a few songs. Yeah.
All right. So I'm like, oh, okay, Rebel Emergency guys are gonna be, ska, punk, rock. That'll be fine. And then I put the thing on, and I thought, wow, have you guys ever taken things to a new level? I mean, if you're familiar at all with what Rebel Emergency has done in the past, which has all been good stuff, it's not as good as this. This is world-class stuff.
Thank you.
So what happened in the last 2 years that, and again, I'm not dissing your old material, it's just that this is so much more than your other stuff. What happened?
A big part of it was the producer we worked with, Matthew Von Wegner, who had done USS's albums and worked with Dragonette, and he was in Aphrodisiology. He was the singer in that band. And when we decided to work with him, because we really liked the USS stuff, just how big it was and how, like, just sonically, how impressive it was. So he kind of opened those doors for us in that in the past.
Oh, wait, what did he do differently?
Well, for example, our first 2 albums we were with Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
And the way we recorded with him was very organic in that he'd set up we had this little sound room. He'd set up one mic, incense, turn the lights down low and say, like, sing like Otis Redding, channel Otis Redding. That's what he'd tell me, try to get me to sing like a soul guy kind of thing. And then he would just pick the right take kind of thing. After like an hour or half an hour, he'd get it out of me. Whereas Matt would spend that amount of time setting up 7 different mics at different distances in the room to try to get a certain sound from me, or
That's an old Brian Eno trick.
Exactly, yeah. And he studied all that stuff, so he's so well versed in studio tricks and techniques. And for the guitars too, I know he got sounds out of you that we've never had before too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's very his approach is much more about getting the recorded sound right off the bat and like taking that and twisting that. Whereas Commissioner Gordon was very organic and very. We let a lot of things breathe on our albums before, and we left in little creaks and cracks. And it was a conscious decision on our part to try to make a world-class album and try to make something huge.
Yeah,
and
we just wanted to sound bigger this time. That was the main thing.
Well, but it's not only the sound of the album; it's the songwriting. I mean, it's more succinct. It's more tuneful. I mean, the ska punk thing is in the background now, if it's there at all, and it's just a solid. I don't want to call it. I can't call it a pop record, but
it is pop. There's a lot of pop in there. I think we took more time on this album and we let the songs kind of come out as they wanted to, as us 4 guys in a room writing, instead of like, do we have to sound like this? As we kind of thought of before sometimes, where you kind of get trapped, like what are we supposed to sound like? What do people want us to sound like? This was like, what do we want to sound like, or what does the song want to be? And we didn't worry about anything. We never changed anything that we liked this time. If it felt good, we left it. We went with it.
Time was a big thing as well. When we work with Commissioner Gordon, he's in New York. So when we're down there, we only have this amount of money for this amount of hotel days and this amount of days that he can do it. Whereas Matt lives down the street, and we can go over there anytime. I was there at 4 in the morning. I'd give him a shout and be like, "What are you up to? I got an idea. Let's get out a glockenspiel, or let's, you know what I mean? Let's put some knives in a drawer and try to make a snare out of it, or that kind of stuff." So we literally we ran the gamut in terms of sonically trying everything out that we wanted to, and had the time to do it. And we're hands-on the entire time. So.
And having Mike, who just joined our band before this album, he opened a lot of doors for us musically too. So it's kind of like he breathed this new energy into the band, and he's the bass player. And so that kind of gave us a new life and a new perspective on music, having that different music brain come in, and then Matt's, the producer's different brain, like coming from this totally different angle from anything we've previously done. So that's what came out of it.
It worked. There's a hell of a lot of hummable stuff on here. Melodies get caught in your head. I will go out on a limb saying right now that this is the most surprising album I've heard to this point this year.
Awesome.
And I mean that in the most positive way. And I wish you guys all the luck with it and with your aphrodisiac studies. And I hope you share some of the secrets
Absolutely.
a little bit later. But nice job and good luck with this record.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.